Hi friends, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel and React JS course. In the previous video, we have seen a brief introduction of the React. So how can we use, where we need to use, and what is the benefit of using the React we have seen. Now in this video, we will try to see the code, how the React JS code sample code will look like. Okay, let's try to create a folder here. So I am creating just a basic thing. So creating the project in a professional way, it will be different. So let's try to see the code, how the code will look like. We'll try to see the React code. So I am creating a new folder, React course. So in this I will be creating all the projects. Here I am creating one folder. Okay, so basic React app. Okay, so this is the basic project, first project with the folder. Let's go into this folder and open a command prompt. Okay, I am opening this one in the Visual Studio. So just what I am doing is I am just opening this empty folder in a Visual Studio. So this is the Visual Studio code. So now I am creating a new file, that is index.html. So here I am writing HTML code. Okay, HTML5 code. Sorry. So here I will be writing the HTML5 code. Okay. Now what I need to do? So in order to work with the React, we need to add React to this application. So how can we add React? How can we add the React? Let's try to copy the React CDN. So React, let's go to the React website. Okay, so let's try to copy the CDN libraries. So this is not the recommended way, just I am showing you how the code will work. So now here it will be the CDN links. Let's copy this development CDN links. Okay, so this is the quick way to add React into your project. So now added the React. Okay, so in order to work with the React, what we need to do, it need to have a one root ID. So I will be adding one root here. I will be adding the new ID is equal to app. So this is the place where the React has the control. So whatever the data we are adding in between this one, so the React will be having the control in between this div tag. Okay. So now we have included two files. I already told you the React itself doesn't comes with the rendering thing. So React DOM is also important for rendering. So we need to include these two files, React and the React DOM. Now I am creating a new file, main.js. Okay, so this is the main.js. Now, as I already told you that React doesn't use the template version. So that means HTML and all those things. So the HTML we will be writing directly in the JavaScript only. So how can we write that one? So that is a different matter. So now that means we understood that the React.js doesn't have a HTML file. So that means we doesn't have the HTML. So we will be having only the JS file. So in the JS file only we need to write how to create the user interface. So now what I can do is, for example, here let's think constant element is equal to, so div hello world. I have written the hello world. Let's assume to say. So this is not a valid syntax actually. In the JavaScript, I cannot write this one as a div like this. Why? Because this is neither a string nor an HTML. So just we are saving some data in the variable element, but the editor is not showing any error because the editor has the support of JSX. That is a different matter. We'll later see on it. So this is not a valid syntax in the JS according to us what we know. Now in order to add the React to this div, what we need to do is we need to take the React DOM. Okay, so dot render, we need to render whatever the element we have. Here we need to render in between this one. So here I can get document dot get element by ID of app. That's it. So now we are trying to add, we are taking the document dot get element by ID of app. This element we are trying to take this node, and we are trying to add the in between those node. We are trying to add this data HTML hello world. So now let's try to see this output. So if I go here and if I open live server, okay. So this is the dummy localhost. So if I try to run here, I am not able to display anything. So if I try to go to the inspect element and if I try to see the console, I click here again, so I am not able to see anything. So what could be the problem here? Why? Because so this is the problem. So this HTML is, this one is not able to detect. So if I write here directly div hello world like this, so if I try to see the output, if I try to refresh this one, okay, I am not able to see any error. So what could be the reason? So at least it is not showing any error. Why? Okay, we didn't add the main.js file. So okay, let's add the main.js file. Script type is equal to text slash javascript. Okay, javascript source is equal to main.js, right? So main.js we have added. Now let's try to see the output here. So now we got an error, that angle bracket. So what is the reason for this one? So the JS suddenly stops here, that angle bracket, it is showing the error. If I try to copy this element and if I try to do the vice versa, then also we need to get an error. Previously we didn't get an error because we didn't added the main.js file. So now by this, the concepts what we know in the JavaScript is working. So that means the JavaScript doesn't know about this HTML. Either we need to write in the HTML file, or otherwise we need to take it as a template literal and we need to add it here directly, right? So now it will display. So this is not the right thing, right? So now what is the, how we can use this one? So the React provides us, okay, with a syntax, that is, if you want to add HTML, so as the React doesn't have a template like Angular or Vue, so now in the JavaScript only we need to write the HTML and all those things. So HTML, as HTML, you know that the JavaScript doesn't support writing the HTML in the JavaScript file. What we need to do, so React supports us, gives us with a syntax, that is how it one is react dot create element. Okay, so we are trying to create element. What is the element I am trying to create? Div. So do I need to add any attributes to the div? No. So what is the word I need to add? Hello world. Okay, this is the syntax I will be writing. So this is how we need to create the HTML element. So this JavaScript, this will be able to know. Why? Because React we are calling the method in the create element in the React class. Now if I try to see the output here, see, now I am able to see the hello world. If I go to the inspect element, and here I am able to see the div tag with hello world. So how this one is coming? So the React.create element, so React.create element is trying to create the div. So when we are rendering this one, this element is compiled by the React DOM, and the DOM renderer will take care of this one virtual DOM, and it is creating the div tag here. So now if I want to add another one, what I can do here, I need to add React.create. Here again I need to use something like h2. Okay, so here I can write here Leela web dev. Okay, so now Leela web dev also came, h2 also has came. So but writing like this very big HTML thing will be a tedious job for us, right? So in React, for everything, so if you want to write the HTML like this means, so it will be a very tedious job. If I want to apply the class name means, you need to apply here. So class name, we need to use the class name here. So if I want to apply Leela some class to the h2, if I try to refresh it here, you'll be able to see the class is equal to Leela here. See. So now writing like this, the JavaScript code and converting this one to the HTML is okay, fine. But writing like this code will be a tedious job. It will be a nightmare. So if you have a big applications, you cannot write like this. So to overcome this problem, so JSX has been introduced. So the JSX, what it will do is, so there is no need for you to write these all the things. Okay, React.create element and all those things. So just what we can do is directly we can take one div here. Okay, here I can write one div hello world. So the same syntax how we have written. So for example, I can keep it like this, or otherwise I will try to create another one element 2. So this React.create element is creating nothing but what we can say is one div it is taking, and inside one div hello world. Okay, and here it is having one h2 Leela web dev. So this is the only syntax what it is trying to create. So this React.create element it is trying to create. So somehow we could have a process of writing like this, and the any compiler or anything, it will be taking care of converting this all code what we have written the HTML into like what we can say into React.create element. It will be a better for us, right? So it will be a better for us. So that could be a better for us. So now how can we do? So for example, if I want to use this element 2 here directly, if I comment out this one, or otherwise leave it like this. If I try to refresh this page, what it is having, again it is showing the syntax error. So then how we can convert this div all these things to the React create element. So now here the Babel compiler will come into place. So the Babel compiler, what it will try to do is, it will try to compile this all JX code. Okay, this all JX code. So it will take all the HTML, whatever the HTML present in the JX code, it will try to take all these things and it will convert that all HTML, this all HTML what you have written, the JSX code, into the React.create element like this. Now what I will try to do, let's try to take the Babel compiler. Okay, setup, and take this in the browser. Just I want to use it directly in the browser, so I can take this CDN file. Now what I need to do, so here I will try to copy here. Okay, so now let's try to see the output. So if I try to see the output, still we are able to get the same problem. So what we need to do here in the main.js, we are using the element 2 we need to use, right? So element 2 we need to use it. So now what we need to do here, we have written the text slash JavaScript, right? So we need to use text slash Babel. So that means we are telling that main.js don't directly render into the browser. So compile it with the Babel and then render it to the browser we are seeing. So now if I try to see the output, now see you are able to see the output. Now if I write whatever the Lila Web 2 hello world with JSX like this, whatever the code you have written, now here you will be able to see the output. If I try to click effect element and if you see here, it is converted and it is able to see. So now what is happening here? So we have written the normal HTML code only. Okay, so we have written the normal HTML code only, but what we are able to see here, the Babel compiler is converting all the code. So whatever the HTML we have written into the React.create element, these type of syntax. So it is converting into this syntax which React can easily be understood. So this is how the Babel compiler will work. So now we are comfortably, we can write the HTML, whatever the HTML we know. So these many years we have learned the HTML, so we can implement with the using the HTML and we can write it in the JavaScript, so that the Babel compiler will take care of this one to compile this one. Okay, so this is all about the how the React works under the hood. Okay, so now in the next video what we will try to do is, we will try to learn about this JSX. So normally directly writing the HTML inside this JSX is not, it's a different. So JSX and the HTML part is a different thing. So let's try to learn the what I can say syntax of the JSX. Let's try to learn, explore this JSX more, and then afterwards we will see why I need to write this type of things. So I know the HTML these many years, but why I need to write like this? So what could be the gaining performance, or is there any performance gaining of writing like this code? Means we can write it. There is no performance or anything miss. So why I need to learn these all separate syntax for the React? Let's try to see it in the coming videos. Okay. Have any doubts or any suggestions? Please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.